Hello everyone, welcome to WD18, the Watford fan channel. Welcome to another video. Really exciting one today. We're going to be previewing Swansea City away this Saturday. But before we do get into that, we've got a couple of guests. First off, we've got regular Sam. Sam, how are you doing, mate? You good?
I'm all right, mate. I hope everyone had a good Christmas. Last video of 2020 as well. You've probably seen on Insta. It's been a mental year for us. A lot of interviews, a lot of podcasts in there. So thank you all for your support, and it's good to be back on the channel.
Lovely stuff. Great touch. And a new regular, hopefully for us, is Elliot, who's done a few pieces online for our website and has started to do the video stuff as well. So Elliot, thank you so much for joining me today, mate. First off, how are you doing? I know it's been a bit of a crazy day for you. I guess you had the press conference and now you're doing the live stream. I know the live stream isn't as good as the press conference, but how you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, it's been a fun one, very eventful one, and yeah, it's a lot of Watford news at the moment. We'll build up to January now.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'll tell you what. First off, before we get into Xisco Munoz, the Norwich game in Swansea, do you want to maybe summarise the key points from Munoz's press conference?
Yeah, so he's, as you'd expect, in very high spirits. He's still very happy about the Norwich result. He's talking about how he said he's not staying up for New Year's tonight, but he's going to let all the players relax and have a drink, which seems to be his sort of trademark now. But yeah, he's taking it cautiously. If anyone suggests automatic promotion, he dismisses it immediately because he's focusing game by game. And yeah, and he's happy about the training, as he seems to always be. He's saying that he's loving the attitude of the players, and it all seems weirdly positive at the moment, which is, I guess, a good
honeymoon period.
yeah.
Well, it seems with the new managerial bounce, Watford do have that quite a bit. Sam, what have you made of Xisco Munoz so far? I think we were saying just off air that we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but the Norwich game was obviously a big positive. He seems like he's a real positive character as well, which is only a good thing, I guess.
I think with these Watford players, I think they kind of thrive off. I mean, cleverly called in one of the lads. I think they thrive off having that manager they can kind of relate to. You know, he gave him Christmas at home. I think Elliott just said he's giving them New Year's at home now as well. I think they really enjoy having that manager who they can kind of relate to on a personal level. I think that's also where kind of the issues were with Ivic, that he was kind of distant from the players, if that makes sense. You could kind of tell that through the performances and on the sidelines as well. But I think, you know, I can kind of see the rationality now behind why they appointed Munoz, whatever you want to call him.
Depending how Spanish you want to sound.
Yeah, Jacob's been on Google Translate just trying to repeat it. Yeah, no, but it's really good early signs, and, you know, it just seems all positive, which is what we need at the moment.
Elliot, what did you make of the Norwich performance? I think you were in attendance, weren't you? So it was a great game to go to. What was your kind of thoughts going away from it? Obviously, a massive win for Watford, but you were there firsthand to see that performance. What did you make of it?
Yeah, well, I thought it was fantastic. I thought we couldn't really have started much better. You don't expect to beat sort of Norwich 4-0, so to get a 1-0 win was absolutely amazing. I thought the defence was really solid. I thought it was nice to see Sarr in a bit more of a freed role. I thought under Ivic he was a bit, I don't know, held back or restrained. But yeah, it seems like the attacking football is there. Even though it was only 1-0, you could see that there is the blueprint for good attacking football. And all round, very good performance. I did think the Messina tackle was a penalty at the time. I wrote in my I wrote in my match report that it was a Stonewall penalty, and that I can't believe the referee did it. But I've had to eat my words with that one.
Were you at the other end, or were you near the Rookery or the family stand?
I was closer to the Rookery, so I had an even worse view. But even when I watched it on the replay, I didn't see the sort of foot come in, so I just thought, right, Stonewall penalty, and I'd written about how I can't believe we got away with that, and but
I think that was a hell of a tackle. Yeah, even watching it at home when his foot went in there, I think we were all like, "Oh no! Like, what are you doing here?" And then you see the replay straight away, and credit to the ref as well, and even Pookie for not getting up and screaming in the ref's face, because I'd say 9 refs out of 10 would give that, particularly in the Championship with no VAR. So credit to the officials. I thought they did well there.
I was going to say, Sam, because I think the thing is, when we obviously drop down to the Championship, we don't have the VAR anymore, and I think that's probably a positive. But on another day, I've seen those challenges given, not because it was a bad tackle or it was a penalty, but because the referee's view is almost obscured a bit, and they give it. I was half expecting the referee to give it, but thankfully they didn't. Overall performance, Sam, Elliot touched on it there. Were you maybe surprised in the way Watford approached the game? Because it seemed like the first 15 minutes, it was pretty even, I thought. And then the end of the first half, we dropped off a little bit. And it seemed in the second half, the approach was basically pressure on the heavy touch in the Norwich backline. They've got a lack of pace there. What did you make of Xisco Munoz's approach to the game tactically?
I did get a bit worried at times, even in the first half, that we were getting a bit too deep, and it was a matter of time before, because even though they like to play in between the lines, as we spoke about before, they got the likes of Buendia who can pick out those passes even when you're that deep. So I did get a bit concerned, but you know, it's easy to say in hindsight now, but he seemed to get it spot on. I thought he used Sema really well. I thought Kiko had another unbelievable game. He's been brilliant this season. He got the club's player of the month, and he looks like he's going to get R1 on WD18 as well.
Make sure you vote at WD18 fans.
But yeah, he did seem to get it spot on. I do think though that his style of play, it's not necessarily built around a certain philosophy. I think with Ivic, you kind of knew what you were going to get every single game, but with Munoz, I think it's going to have to adapt in certain times, particularly against teams like Norwich, like your Brentfords, where you're going to have to sit back a bit more. So it'll be really interesting. After the Swansea game, we got the likes of Huddersfield, where we can be a bit more attacking, and it'll be interesting to see how we set up there.
Elliot, he's got a few selection headaches really going into the Swansea game. I think the big one is the two centre-backs. Does he continue with Sirialta and Wilmot? Because, I mean, they were likened to Prao Maldini and Baresi on Twitter after that performance against Norwich. But they were superb. I mean, Sirialta in particular, I think we've all seen from Wilmot the quality he has. But Sirialta, I mean, I don't think he's actually started a league game this season. Someone might correct me if I'm wrong, but he's played in the cup competitions. He came on against Huddersfield. How impressive was he? And if you were Xisco Munoz, would you continue with those two guys going into Swansea, or would you maybe switch it up?
It is a real headache. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be Munoz. It's a really tough one. I think, like you say, Sirialta was just fantastic, and he did look really comfortable on the ball, and he didn't really put a foot wrong. And same with Wilmot, of course, you've got to give him credit. But I think so. He said Kabasele and Troost-Ekong are in a good position. I don't know if that means, because under Ivic, where he would say they're ready to come back, that often meant they would sit on the bench for a week and then they'd come back after that. I'm not sure if that is Munoz's philosophy, but yeah, I'd keep it the same for this week and then reassess for the game after that. Okay. Maybe FA Cup is another opportunity.
That's a good shout. With the FA Cup, there's a bit of rotation. Sam, would you continue with Gray and Deeney up front? Because they seem to complement each other well, but they didn't take their chance. I mean, on another day, we probably could have been punished for not taking opportunities.
You can't change a winning team. That's the thing for me. And I was admittedly one of the people who was unhappy to see Deeney and Gray in there. But at the same time, I know a striker's job is to score goals, but away from the missed chances that both of them had, I thought they did a really good job with the pressing. Deeney obviously comes back into that midfield shape when we don't have the ball. And I think if you want to get on the good side of these players as well, that they're all confidence. It's all confidence, and you can't really drop them for a performance where they didn't necessarily do badly. And I think as well with Stipe Paritza, he's not necessarily sharp enough to start, as we saw when he came on. So perhaps I'd save Paritza for the Man United game in the Cup, but I do think he will go with Deeney and Gray again.
And obviously the big void that's now been filled is Etienne Capoue, who's moved to Villarreal, obviously.
Oh, don't start me, Jacob. I cried all night last night.
Sam's got the tissues next to him. Tears are going to stop flowing. I mean, to be fair, it was one of those. It was really weird because we all expected it to happen, but when it was confirmed, it was still. I think you tweeted out, Sam. It felt weird that it got confirmed because we've been used to it for like how long? 5.5 years.
Yeah, 5.5 years.
It was really weird when it got confirmed.
Yeah, he kept the yellow shirt on though at Villarreal. That's what's important.
That is true. Elliot, just on Capoue, the right move for all parties, do you think?
Ultimately, yes, because you can't have an unhappy Capoue at Watford. Munoz said that he did really well this week and he trained really well and he did have a good game last week, but you can't really keep him there. And if there's a move to Villarreal on the horizon, then he's got to take it. But it leaves Watford with a massive, massive conundrum of who do you put in that role, because you've got Chalibah. Is he the right fit for that role? I think he's a good midfielder, but I'm not sure if he's the sort of person that can step into Etienne Capoue's shoes. And then if you're looking in the transfer market for someone to pick up, there's no one really that fits the bill quite like he does.
I was going to ask you, Elliot, actually, who would you bring in to fill that void if he continues with the 4-4-2? That is, because he's got
really,
Garner,
really
Chalibah. I mean, it's difficult. Husey, obviously, he's come back from injury or COVID.
I think last week it was actually a like-for-like substitution of Chalibah for Capoue, so perhaps that sort of foreshadows what's going to be happening in the squad. So I think for now, Chalibah would have to be the defensive-minded, ball-winning midfielder, and then we've got to find someone in the transfer market, because I don't think he's someone that can be replaced by the players that we've already got. I think it's someone that we've got to look at replacing with a new player. I just don't know who that would be at this point.
Yeah, go on, Sam.
I feel you say that we can't replace him with one of the players we've already got in the squad, and I agree from the midfield options. But I mean, I know it's experiment, maybe even Man United in the cup, but try Ben Wilmot in that position. I really think that he could do a job in the middle. I know it's not FIFA where you just move players around, but we did sign him as a central midfielder. So
the argument is though, Sam, why would you move him if he's so good at centre back? Now I think he can definitely play in maybe a 6, or I think in a 6 if he's a little bit more defensive. If Xisco maybe wants to change it to a diamond, but the performances I've seen from Ben Wilmot at left centre back, I don't think we've probably got a better right-footed centre back. Well, out of the choices we have, who can play on the left, like it's quite a skill really. Like we don't have a left-footed centre back, so he's the only one who can really play it comfortably. That's the dilemma he's got.
Yeah, no, I mean, it just makes January so important now as well, in general.
Go on, Elliot. Sorry, mate.
I've seen some murmurings, and this is by no means me being in the know at all. I'm not. But there's Valentin.
In the know.
Yeah. But there's Valentin Antov from CSK Sofia, who is a 20-year-old defensive midfielder who can also play centre half. I'm not sure if he shares the qualities that Capoue has, but so he plays for the same team as Jerome Sinclair and Peñaranda now.
Makes sense.
And Cristiano Giretta. He's also the link, so having Giretta there might add to negotiations. I have seen some people speculating that he could be. Well, I think he's wanted by Arsenal and Roma as well, because he's the 20-year-old captain of CSKA. So I think that could be an idea, but that's very, very early, and I'd take that with a pinch of salt, to be honest. But
I might be wrong, but I think they might be in like the Europa League qualifier, or they were in the Europa League.
Yeah, I remember reading about that from Peñaranda and Sinclair being involved. But yeah, I think he could be pretty good, especially if Arsenal and Roma want him. There must be something there.
Yeah, must have a bit of quality in him. Yeah, that's an interesting shout. Sorry, Sam. Go on, mate.
Just a question for both of you, just about the forward line again. Would you? I mean, there's a lot of talk again of Isaac's success coming back into the fold. Would either of you bring him back in, give him another chance?
I don't see he's not going to be straight into the starting lineup, but certainly he offers a little bit something different off the bench. And I think the fact, when was the last time we saw success really put in a top-class performance? Was probably Spurs away at Stadium MK.
Yeah,
he was actually unplayable that night. They couldn't deal with him. Like, he was on fire. But it's whether he can get consistent opportunities. And I'm not too sure whether maybe Xisco will risk him. But I guess a new manager does give him the opportunity to maybe try him out in the cup competitions, because we're going to need, the amount of games that are coming at the moment. It might be an option, especially in the cup competition. I know I don't know if you heard, Elliot, at the press conference, I read something that even Glenn Murray's still got an opportunity with Xisco.
Yeah, so it looks like he may not be going anywhere, which is interesting. He said he likes having him as a leader in the changing room. He likes having him as another player that can. Well, apparently he's just a big voice in the changing room, which is quite new to me. But he could be an option. He's a proven goal scorer at his previous clubs, and we know what he did at Brighton a couple of seasons ago in the Premier League. And you never know. It's the same conversation as we had when he joined, really, because it's will he, won't he? I think he could prove himself. Yeah, I think stick him up front against Manchester United and give him a test, see how he does.
That's a great shout. I think, to be fair, with success, just going back onto him, he suits a 2 up top, and if we continue with the 4-4-2, it could be an option that I could see being explored. But I don't think he's my first choice at the moment, Sam. I don't know about you. I don't know if you really rate him.
Look, I just feel that it's more of a reflection on. We've spoken before about the poor recruitment of late, of course, and not all of it's been bad, but it's just, I think, a reflection on like the fact that he's even still in with a chance. And we all thought he'd go last January. We all thought he'd go in the summer, and he's still here. And I'd happily be proved wrong, but very skeptical about whether he will actually prove us wrong this time. And I think he can play off the right as well. So, you know, it's a useful player to have in there if he actually does, you know, put his foot down. Yeah,
he's the only unavailable player, I think, for this weekend against Swansea. We'll move on to that game. We were just saying how good Swansea have been this season. They've only lost 4 games. They've got the best defence in the league, conceding 12 goals. Watford are just behind them with 15 goals conceded. So it's the battle of the defences. Elliot, you mentioned you watched the Swansea game last night. Have you picked out maybe any strengths or any weaknesses from the Swansea team that you've kind of spotted?
Well, they drew 0-0 to Reading, and it was actually the most unfair 0-0 I've ever seen. The Reading goalkeeper, Raphael, was fantastic, and on another day it would have been 4-0 to Swansea, to be honest with you. Okay. In terms of strengths, that back line is just fantastic. They've got a flat back three they've got players like Ben Cabango and Mark Gurhey, and they lost Van der Horn and Joe Rodon in the summer, and many people thought that would sort of disrupt their solid back line, but if anything, it strengthened it, and they're very, very solid at the back. I noticed they have Ryan Bennett out with an injury. He came from Wolves, I believe.
Wolves,
he had a spell at Leicester as well in between. So he might be a big miss for them, because I know he's been playing well recently. So if there's a weakness, I guess it would be that. But yeah, it will be a very tough game, and I doubt there'll be more than 2 goals, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Elliot, I talked about the defence, but even offensively as well, Swansea have scored 25, we've scored 24 goals this season. So it's an incredibly even game. And to be fair, if you're a betting man, you'd probably bet on a draw. Sam, you know of Jamel Low. He's obviously been playing for Swansea recently. What does he bring to their team?
I think he brings pace. He's got a lot of skill on him. He's really, really good on the ball, dribbling wise as well. I watched him quite a bit when he was at Portsmouth, and I've watched him. He scored an absolutely unbelievable goal a couple of weeks ago against Cardiff, where he ran half the pitch and outside of the foot stuck it into the bottom corner. But you know, I mean, we spoke about how even the teams are. That I'd say the biggest thing I've taken out of the season so far is I have faith in our defence. We've spoken about how good Sierralta, Wilmot, Kiko, Troost-Ekong, how good all of them have been this season. So I have no doubt that they can contain him, but I'd say he is their main danger man at the moment.
Just looking at the form guide, in the last 8 games, Watford have got 14 points. Swansea City also 14 points. It's going to be a really tight affair at the Liberty Stadium. We'll kick it off with Sam's score prediction. Sam, what are you going for?
I am going to go for a 2-1 Watford win. 2-1
Watford, Elliot?
I'm going to be boring and go 1-0.
I was going to go 1-0 as well. I think this has got a draw written all over it, and then we'll probably be proven wrong and it's a 3-3 classic. But we'll see. Thank you very much to everyone who's watched today. We really do appreciate all the support over the past year. And actually, before we do wrap up, we've got a little bit of a, well, not a game, but like a scenario. What is one thing that we want as Watford fans going into 2021? It's been a difficult year for everyone, a difficult year for Watford on and off the pitch. But Sam, what is one thing that you would like to see from Watford in 2021, apart from get promoted?
Yeah, aside from promotion, I would say winning at Luton away. I'd say, and hopefully fans will be there as well to see it. But yeah, well, happy New Year, everyone, and hopefully we'll be in the Premier League this time next year as well.
Love that, Elliot. Have you got any New Year wishes for Watford?
I'd like to see us keep Zisco for the whole year. That's my challenge.
I love that.
He just seems great. So yeah, if we can have him by the 31st of December 2021, then I think that's a success.
Love that. I think my wish probably is to see fans back in Vicarage Road regularly. That would be brilliant. I think we all had a taste of what the atmosphere was like with fans back into the ground. So if we can get to that on a regular basis, get the Rookery bouncing again, then I would love to see that. But that's where we're going to wrap up the match preview for the Swansea game, guys. Thank you very much to everyone who's watched. Please do leave a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to follow all the guys involved on their social medias. The link will be in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.